friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany, and in today's video I have another cook with me video for you. I know so many of you have been asking for another cook with me. It's been a while, so I'm super excited to have one for you today. Tonight we are going to be making a delicious creamy gnocchi soup, and hopefully you are here for it. It is cozy soup season, so I'm glad you're here. Let's go ahead and get started. You guys know I do a ton of cooking for my family every single day, whether it's delicious dinners or nutritious breakfasts. I am constantly in the kitchen, and I'm super excited to talk to you about today's video sponsor, Ciwete. Ciwete is an online company that sells all different types of cookware, and for today's video, I'm going to be showcasing their 6-quart Dutch oven. I love a Dutch oven, especially for soups, chilies, anything like that, especially this time of year. We just had a supper club where we had like a soup off, and I made a creamy tortilla soup in a Dutch oven, and they're just the best to cook with, especially when it comes to delicious creamy soups. The Ciwete 6-quart Dutch oven is perfect for any type of cooking. You can cook pretty much anything in this. It's large, so you can make big batch meals. You can roast an entire chicken if you needed to. You can actually put them in the oven. You can make desserts, you can make dinners, you can make all different types of things in them. The Ciwete 6-quart Dutch oven is made with high quality cast iron, and it has multi-layered enamel, so it offers really good heat retention and distribution, which makes cooking a little bit easier and smoother, and it's going to spread that heat out evenly. It offers a non-stick smooth enamel, which makes it easy to cook in and clean when you're done, which is ideal, especially for me because my kids do 99% of the cleanup after dinner. The Ciwete 6-quart Dutch oven comes in multiple different colors. It's got a really cute pink, a really pretty mint green, and this gorgeous cream color that I have here. This is beautiful. I have had it living on my stove since it was delivered. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I think this would make a beautiful stock pot if I were to make any kind of scented hot pot for the holiday season. This would be gorgeous to live just on my stove, simmering away, making the home smell good. If you have a cook in your family or someone who you know loves to be in the kitchen, then the Ciwete 6-quart Dutch oven would probably be a perfect gift for them. As I mentioned, you've got multiple different colors to choose from, and not only is it a perfect gift for those who love to cook, but it's gonna look gorgeous in any kitchen as well. As always, I'll have everything linked for you down in the description box below. Thank you, Ciwete, for partnering with me in today's video. Now, let's get to cooking.
We're going to get started by preheating our Dutch oven and getting our oil warming up. I'm going to just give you advance notice that I'm following a recipe by Tegan from Half Baked Harvest. However, I'm doing things a little bit differently, partially because I like things done a little bit differently, and partially because I didn't read the entire directions before I got started, but that's okay. So the recipe does call for cooking your chicken in the broth, but I don't really like chicken cooked that way. I like my chicken to get nice and browned and have a little bit of a crust to it. So we're gonna cook the chicken first. I went ahead and thinly sliced my chicken breasts, and I seasoned both sides with some salt and pepper, and we're just going to cook those here in our Dutch oven on about medium heat to medium high heat. I'm going to put the lid on so that they cook nice and evenly, and these will be so delicious in our soup. You do not need to do this part. You can follow the recipe as it says. Cook your chicken in your broth. That's perfectly fine. It will work just as well, if not better. This is just my personal preference. You do not have to do it this way. Go ahead and flip your chicken and just continue to do this until all of your chicken is cooked. I cooked approximately 2 chicken breasts, which gave me 6 thinly sliced chicken breasts. And That just gave us the perfect amount of chicken for this recipe. There are a lot of us to feed, so I did make sure that there was plenty of protein in there. I'm now going to grab my chef's knife here. I'm just going to give it a quick little sharpening. This just makes it easier when I'm cutting an onion. And we're going to dice up one whole yellow onion here. You can do this really finely or a little bit more rustic. This is a soup. I like things to be a little bit more meaty in here. I like to be able to bite into things. And so I did not cut this very, very thinly. I just made it nice and diced and delicious for a soup. This was a perfect cozy evening. Danny and the kids were watching The Grinch in the background. It was so nice. It totally feels like the holiday season, and I am here for it. I'm adding a little bit more of extra virgin olive oil to my Dutch oven, and I'm going to add in our onion here, and you'll see all of those little brown bits from the chicken, and I just love that. I think it adds such a depth to a recipe, and I like to just have that there in a soup. And as these onions are sweating it out, they're going to just kind of deglaze the pot, which is perfect. And this Dutch oven does such a great job at spreading out the heat. It prevents things from burning, which is so nice. I'm also going to add in a few diced up carrots. I can't exactly remember how many, but I'll have the recipe linked for you down below. And I'm also going to dice up some celery. This is just your traditional start to any delicious soup. Onion and carrot and celery, you know it's going to be good. Now this is where we start to take a little bit of a detour from the recipe because I forget to add in our flour. This is where you would add in your flour to create the roux to get your soup nice and creamy, but I forgot to do that part. I did end up adding it in after the fact and it worked out perfectly fine, but make sure you follow your recipe. I'm adding in my garlic now, and we're going to add in all of the seasonings. I didn't measure anything. I eyeballed it based on the recipe, and I can be a little bit of an over seasoner, but I prefer that. In fact, my family will always complain when we go out to eat that food tastes under seasoned now because they're so used to me just over seasoning everything. So don't be afraid to add a pinch more or a little bit more of something. It just makes everything taste so very good. Another fun tip from my kitchen to yours is to add all of your seasonings before you add any of your liquid. In my opinion, this allows for all of the seasoning to blossom and come to life before you water it down with liquid. And I feel like it does such a better job at bringing all of those seasonings to life. Now that I've let those seasonings blossom, I'm going to add in our vegetable broth. I don't exactly remember how much the recipe calls for. I'll have it linked for you down below, but I will say that I did go back and add in a little bit more after I added our shredded chicken because I wanted to make sure that our soup was souping today. I did not want it to come out like a chili. I definitely wanted it to be more soupy. So after I added in our shredded chicken, I went back and put about a cup more of fluid in, and it turned out perfect. Another delicious element of this soup is sun-dried tomatoes. I love sun-dried tomatoes. My family likes the flavor, but they don't always love to bite into it. So I made sure that I finely diced mine, made them really, really small, so that way they didn't get giant chunks of it. But These are so good and they add such a delicious flavor. They're sweet, they're tangy, a little bit tart, and so very good. And now it was time to make sure our soup passed the sniff test to make sure it was coming along just right. And it was. My house smelled incredible. We're now going to add in the heavy cream. This just takes your soup from delicious to wow for sure. This gives you that creamy texture that every good soup needs. So very delicious. Remember I told you I forgot to add the flour? Well, this is when I realized it. So I went ahead and melted down the butter and added in the flour, created my roux, let it cook off just for a couple of minutes to get rid of all that starchy flavor. And then I added it to the soup and it worked out perfectly fine. As you can see here, my soup is deliciously thick and the perfect consistency that I was looking for. I'm adding in some Parmesan cheese for additional flavor, and then we're also going to pile it high with some fresh spinach. You can add as little or as much as you prefer. I wanted a lot of extra leafy greens, so we're going to put in 3 big handfuls. The last thing to go in is our fresh gnocchi. You don't want to drop this until you're ready for everything else to be finished. These took about 3 minutes to float to the surface. That's when you know they're done. So go ahead and drop those in, give it a stir. I did put the lid on to let it cook for just a couple of minutes. And like I said, these will not take long at all. Once they float to the top, you'll know that it's done and that they're ready. And like I said, these took approximately 3 minutes and then they were floating to the surface and we were ready to devour this soup. And here's a look at our cozy masterpiece all finished. Thank you again, Ciwete, for partnering with me in today's video. This Dutch oven worked out perfectly for this soup and all of the soups I'll be cooking throughout the rest of the winter season. I appreciate you joining me in today's video. If you are not subscribed, I would love to have you subscribe and come back for more. I post cozy recipes every single month and I will see you in the next one. Take care, my friends.